Hello, and welcome to the DangerCast podcast. This podcast features prominent and long-term community members of an indie game called Superfighters Deluxe. Our purpose is to catalog this community on the internet, and also to bring some sort of closure to the days when all of us had enjoyed playing together. Back then, our community was warmer and much closer together. We were able to share the valuable experiences we talk about here. Well, 5 years after the first launch of SFD, we've lost that connection for many different reasons. Now we only have the nostalgia to warm us up. Each episode will release weekly and will feature a new guest to share their unique experiences. Okay, well, we've been longtime players of a game made by Mythologic Interactive. I, for example, started on the very first release launch of the pre-alpha of Superfighters Deluxe. We're here to discuss our experiences and also just be together as people. Just talk, you know?
Yeah.
I'm Danger Ross.
Yeah.
And
Hi,
the rest of these
Danger
goofballs
Ross.
are trespassers.
Alright,
Okay,
I
go,
guess.
okay.
I'm Bash Kraken. I'm a map maker, SFD MLG god, and I make another game in my free time, but that's not relevant to the conversation. Anybody else? Yeah, go.
Okay, we're not talking about
Nice.
your game, Bash. We're talking about SFD.
SFD Deluxe.
Talk
Yeah,
about
that's the game of
SFD.
the hour.
We're talking about SFD.
Look.
Stay on topic, please.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, Bash.
You have already ruined
Who are
this
the rest
podcast.
of these people here?
I'm Jon Marc.
Hello, Jon Marc.
Playing
Hello, Jon Marc.
Hello.
since the beginning, since the very beginning, when it didn't work, and it was a bad game, and it's still a bad game, and I hate it. But that's not why we're here. We're here because I'm the leader of LM,
LM
the
Clan.
guy that you hear today.
Thank you, boss.
I see.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have Lunatic with us, and
That's a lie.
This is,
Spartan cast
Jake,
win.
introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Jake. You can call me Quinterball. I play SFD. I've been playing it the second longest here. And I made a map once.
yeah. I don't remember if it was
That-
good
that's
or not, but you
Alright,
know.
No,
all that's left is me.
I should also
Uh,
mention that I've been a script maker since like 2 years ago, and only
Oh,
SFD
aren't you
got me into
cool?
No, this is important. This is important. SFD
job.
actually got me into
Good.
coding single-handedly,
job.
and it's probably going
Jeez,
to
this
be
guy
my
doesn't
career.
stop.
That's pretty good. Okay, and
That's
Can't thank
neat.
your...
who's
So
this
if it
other
wasn't
man?
for SFD, I wouldn't have had a direction in life.
Wow.
So there you go.
Aw, thanks,
This bad
Gert.
game made a bad man.
It's myself, yeah.
We have one more person to introduce.
Alright, I'm, one more person, it's me. I'm, the name of, like, DragnFruit, Honega, Hunter, you know, all those names. I've been in this community for, like, I don't know, 4 fucking years, I don't know. I came
You know the
around, like, right before the Fire update, I do know that. And, I'm a member of LM, I mod the SFD Discord, I don't know why. And yeah, I don't really do anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Three of
Cool.
us here
So,
mod
yeah,
the SFD Discord.
So what do we want to talk about today, Ross?
So let's just start with like the basics of what SFD is and the community is.
Okay.
Let's just
Wow.
assume that the people we're talking to have our audience. Have no idea what Superfighters Deluxe is.
Well, SFD
So-
Deluxe, the game made by Mythologic Interactive, Gert and Hjorpa are the two specific developers. They made this game. It's like an arena 2D shooter kind of thing where weapons spawn in these crates, they fall down, you get them, you shoot each other, you melee, you get to be a melee pro.
You have a blast.
Yes.
In SFD.
And you play with fun Brazilians.
Yes, the Brazilians
One of
are
the
the best
developers.
people. Yeah, or the developers.
One of the developers is a Brazilian.
No.
Secret third one.
We have speculation that one of the developers is a Brazilian. Now we cannot confirm that. We cannot say it's true or false. This is just
It's Gert.
speculation.
Pure speculation.
It could be true.
It could be true. It could be not. You know, we don't know. So for now, we're just gonna assume it as fact.
Yeah. Okay. And then Gert and Hjorpa, they're Swedish.
We think.
Yeah. We're also not sure about that.
Allegedly.
But yeah, SFD has been in development for how many years now? It's like
5, 6.
Oh my god, really?
yeah,
6 years.
Yeah.
Jesus
Feel old
fuck,
yet?
dude.
yeah. I joined like 4 years ago, so yeah, that's when I started making
Oh my
maps
God.
at least. So
Has it
Feel old
really
yet?
been like 4 years?
it has, yeah,
Feel old.
Jesus
It's
Feel
been
Christ,
over
old
it's
4
yet?
years for
5
sure.
too.
It's been at least 5 years.
yeah.
It's been at
How
least
big is the
5
community?
years.
We're old.
Yeah.
Why are we recording
Feel
this?
old
Why are we
yet?
talking about SFD? We should have moved on.
Yeah.
Well, I should
We
have
are
mentioned this,
moving
but
on.
Wait,
this is
That's
why
what
I
episode
want.
This is our way of healing.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but okay.
yes.
The question
But-
is, we have we actually stayed playing SFD if we have at all?
Well, we have a
Holy
connection to
shit.
this game, right? We have
Oh
a
my god,
connection.
you want me to like suck you all off?
I mean,
Because, like,
Yes.
you're all my personal reason for staying is because, like, you know, the game is fun and all, but really what makes it fun is like the community. That's the only, I'm gonna be honest, the only reason why this game is like has ever like held a community like it has to this day is because is honestly all just because of the community. Like,
Very much so,
yeah, I agree.
like
When,
I feel like-
I've known you boys for 4 or 5 years so far. That is the only reason I've stayed. If
Yeah.
like there was nobody cool playing this game, I would not be playing it, honestly.
well, the reason
I feel like
oh,
Yeah, I see that's gonna be like an overlaying theme of this podcast in general. The fact
We
that
all love each other and we're all gay
Yeah.
for each other.
it's not really
Yes.
about the game; it's about the
That
community.
is the overlaying theme.
yeah,
That's the over.
We've come to accept our homosexuality for each other.
yeah, that's pretty much the reason I've stayed as well. Just for everybody here, like the SFD Discord when it first started was pretty dang popular. There are a lot of people using it. It's since gone down in popularity.
Which is another
It-
reason why I started this podcast. Actually,
Oh, okay, that's pretty
I was
cool,
gonna think
though.
about. I was gonna say that, but I forgot to in my
Well,
introduction.
now you did. I also kept playing because I was making maps and scripts and that kind of stuff, and I like being creative, and SFD is a good game for that, actually. Its map editor is really accessible, for the most part, and scripting in it isn't too hard either, so, yeah. It's a really
Mhm.
community-driven game, to say the least.
It's got a
I
good
mean, just
community
think
too.
about it.
For-
We started this game at the very beginning when there was like pretty much no one playing.
Yeah.
So obviously we're gonna make like some really deep connections to those people who just happen to be playing alongside of us.
Yeah, like, you know, because when you're playing SFD, you just see these little men running around. They all have, you know, names, and like, since there's just such a small player base, you keep playing on the same servers, you keep playing with the same people, and you kind of get to know them, and it's pretty cool like that way.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Now I actually see like new people every day.
so
I haven't seen.
Everyone
I
I see.
barely play nowadays, so
yeah,
like
I mean,
I
I
only
play
know
from
like
time
a
to
lot of
time.
oldies.
Honestly, I have stopped in the past month.
Yeah, some of my real life
I only-
friends play with me sometimes, so that's okay.
I only play if I only play if I can get someone else to play with me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like when LM goes in. Oh, LM, if you do not know, is Lunar Mafia. It's headed by Lunatic.
Jon Marc.
It's-
Right
no,
here
no,
on the podcast.
it's-
It is the oldest surviving clan of SFT. which
Yeah,
is-
I joined it. Was it a year ago now? I don't know, something like
Oh
that.
my
Yeah, about a
god!
year
it might
ago.
have been. Holy shit!
Yeah,
It has been a year since you've joined. That felt like, oh my god, a month ago, dude.
Yeah, I'm a newbie
the
to the
hell?
LM clan, but Lunatic runs it. There are a lot of good boys in there, like Knight Zyfex is his other name.
Wait,
Me.
it's been a year? That means I've been an element over a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, but Lunar
Oh my
Mafia is just a
goodness, we
good
need
bunch of
members.
boys who like memes and zooms. Oh yeah, zooms. Hey. Okay, yeah. The other thing about SFD is that it's insanely random RNG based. Yeah,
And
for
broken.
the most part. Yeah,
Doesn't
and
function.
it's really broken. So the physics engine just kind of sucks, or it's really good, depending on how you look at it. Because what is it?
It's subjective.
It is very subjective.
It's a very subjective game.
Yeah. Overall,
You're in your own way of
Beauty.
winning.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
yeah.
I mean, they can't really fix it though. Because it's all on the engine. They really can't do anything about it.
I don't want
Good
them to
for
fix
us.
it. I love it just the way it is.
Yeah, especially the physics engine has some very, very good quirks. Like what a lot of people have been calling the zoom. I don't know who originally called it that. I think it may have been,
Probably
I think it was you.
Zyfex.
or it probably was Zyfex. Maybe.
Oh, was it you?
It
Oh,
could-
it was Zyfix. It was Zyfix.
It was
Yeah,
probably Zyfex, but then I just started saying it more, and then we just both popularized it probably. But yeah, the zoom is where you flip and jump up and you kick a dang object and you go flying.
So
Yeah.
like you basically kick an object and the object pushes you as you kick it.
Because that's one of the quirks of
Yes,
the physics
yes.
engine, is that the players themselves are objects, so they can be interacted with by other objects as well, so you can get pushed around and stuff. It's pretty
And
dumb.
the kick is really good at like flipping objects over. so that makes
It's
the flipping of
obscenely
the
good.
object push you even harder.
It's really good at it.
Yeah.
Jon Marc, what do you think of the physics engine of SFD?
Jon Marc, when's
Well-
the last time you played SFD?
That was like a year ago, probably.
When's the last
2
time
years.
we've all played SFD?
Like a month ago, I'd say.
Probably a week.
Oh my
for
god, I
me.
haven't played in months. Jesus.
I'd say
Like,
it's only been a
last-
few months.
Like, I just woke
It
up this
has
morning
been
and
a
Ross was
while,
like, hey, we're doing a podcast. And I said, okay.
Okay, is it about
Hell yeah.
SFD? All right.
When I woke up today, I was woke.
Is it a dream
I'm-
about a
I'm
podcast?
woke-
And you're like,
I
need
am
this
woke
as
even
reality?
when I'm sleeping. I am always woke, perpetually.
Okay. I'm especially
Games is
woke when I'm
Bob's
playing
favorite.
SFD. Yeah. That game has some woke AF people in there, especially the Brazilians who are very good at melee.
They are so woke.
Yeah.
They have so much ADHD in their bodies that they just know what you're gonna do before you do it. So it's like fighting a bunch of perfect cells.
They have ultra instinct basically. Yeah,
They know what you're going to. They know what you're going to do before you know what you're going to
Yeah,
do.
if before you input it into
They
the
think for
keyboard,
you.
before you move your finger, they know exactly what you're going to do in SFD.
I mean, that is kind of what Melee is all about, though. It's all just prediction.
yeah, it's
They
kind
think
of like
for you.
closure.
it's kind
Well,
of
at least
Prediction
it's not
and
doing
reaction.
combos.
yes,
Reaction.
Depends
prediction
what
and
kind of
reaction.
Melee.
It's kind of a fighting game in that aspect, but it's nowhere near as good as something like Smash. Because the
It's
melee
literally-
system.
Another great aspect, a little bit understated, the development cycle.
Oh yeah.
Because the game has
do
gone
it.
through so
Ooh.
many,
Lay it on.
just because the game has gone through so many autistic phases of melee being
Ooh.
ever so slightly changed, and then suddenly completely overhauled,
Quote
and then
unquote.
slightly changed again, and the community having to react and adapt to it every single time, and just screaming their asses off.
Yeah.
Forums.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why we like quit SFD for a while.
We're on
It's
strike.
It's
We're on
because the
strike
melee
currently,
system.
trying to get what we want.
The melee system is just
Basically.
too good.
It's pretty tough to play a game for 5 years consecutively.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
I don't know. I mean,
How do we
The
like
map
not
editor.
lose interest?
I personally
I-
like the map editor a lot.
Yeah,
Me.
that's pretty much it. I mean, okay.
I just
'cause
love the boys.
I feel like at some point, I feel like each of us has lost interest in SFD and then it's like had like a short hiatus or something. I'm pretty sure that's happened for most of us, right? Like
I mean,
right
that's
now,
kind of like
Right.
like
Okay.
right now, there are a few of us who haven't played SFD in like a month or so, or a few months.
Yeah. I only play when I know like at least one other person playing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
only
normally
time.
do that.
Because yeah, the community is really what drives it still. So I don't know. You know, like playing for like competitive
I played the
reasons.
original. I played the original Superfighters more than I did Deluxe.
Oh,
Oh,
That's what
I
we're
was
saying.
that's a good blower right there. Oh yeah, the
Oh,
original
yeah, we should-
SF. Jeez.
We should probably
Should
mention
we just-
that, yeah. The original
wanna just
SF was
roast-
extremely popular on the Newgrounds website. Or was.
and good. And good. It's
It-
also really good.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Check it
it's-
out.
It's the predecessor to Superfighters Deluxe, made by Mythologic Interactive as well. Yeah,
Decent's an understatement. It's
it's
fun.
it is pretty
Dude, I
fun.
started so many friendships over Super Fighters. Like, all my close friends to this day were like all the friends that like in middle school I would just go to the computer lab with. We'd all just like go into like Newgrounds back when it wasn't blocked, and we just like play Super Fighters all day, and we just do matches against each other. It was super fucking fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you make
believe
tournaments out of it and stuff.
Competitive tournaments because
Yeah.
SFD
Did
is a
everybody
very
like find it the
competitive
same
game.
way, where you're like 10-year-old on a computer and you're like, "Yay, 2-player game free." And then Fighters comes
That's
up.
actually what happened.
Huh?
That's how I found it.
Okay. I guess there's that like bringing up like tourneys and stuff. That's another aspect of SFD is the quote unquote competitive scene. The SFD is a competitive game. What is it? It's very laughable, to say the least, just because.
It's competitive,
never-
but it's
We
RNG.
have never had a successful tournament.
That is true. That is true.
Because
Oh, we never finished any, did we?
yeah, SFD is technically a competitive versus game, so you think there'd be at least one successful tournament that somebody ended up doing because it's online multiplayer versus, so you can span across continents and stuff and oceans. So you think that something would come from it, but no.
Worlds even.
I mean, we've had like clan wars that have gone through successfully, right?
Oh, I've been in a
Yeah.
few Clan Wars myself.
Like,
That really
I was
fun.
never around for clan wars. This thing.
Clans themselves are kind of a joke, though. To be truthful,
Oof.
I don't know.
Oof.
Colon.
Ooh.
I mean, there's so many now that
Lots of-
still matter. At some point, clans are actually had real value to them, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in the very beginning it was kind of fun because everyone was like rapidly forming all these fledgling clans.
And then they were actually fighting with each other, like trying to see who's
Yeah.
the best. But
Yeah.
nowadays,
There
For
was
most of
a
my-
lot more clan beef before in the good old days.
Yeah, for most of my like SFD career, I was in a clan called Spartan Crew, and it was originally made
Oh, you want to go
just
on that?
do we need to
combat
talk about Spartan
Lunar
Crew?
Mafia, the clan I'm
Do
in
we
right
need
now.
to talk about that?
Yeah, we do. It's very
Okay.
important. It's very
Okay, so
We need to help Ross get over his PTSD.
Spartan Crew, Spartan Crew,
This is healing for
aka
him.
can I do like the intro for this? Yeah, okay. So Spartan
yeah, go
Crew,
ahead.
aka SC, was headed by Obito and his brother Tataro.
Tataro.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
No, it's
Totoro, right?
Totoro,
Yeah, Totoro.
Totoro, whatever. In
Toro.
It's from
it,
Naruto.
yeah, it was made to combat LM. I joined it at one point. Ross joined it at one point. I think a lot of people were actually in SC at one point.
Yeah,
but-
you were in it. Ross was in it.
I mean, I
Blaster
joined it
was in
because
it.
I actually was competitive.
Jon
back then.
Marc!
I was super competitive.
Mhm.
In fact,
Jamari
I would be
was in
competitive
it.
now if you
Rest
guys would
in
be
peace,
playing.
Jamari.
Jamari was in it.
Yeah.
Before he died.
But there is a lot of
We don't-
beef between LM and SC, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had several clan
Oh,
wars.
speaking of which, Obito is actually back. Like, we could have him as a guest one
Yo.
day. Imagine.
That would be
Oh,
pretty
shit.
cool.
Are
Some
you
was a guest.
serious?
Yeah, he was on hiatus because he stopped, like, computer gaming in general.
Oh wow,
Oh my god, put him on as a guest.
Yeah, we will.
at some point.
Next time.
Next time.
But we got
Next time.
Bash right now. We got Pianist.
Wow, it's
Bash,
me.
get out of here. We want
This-
Obito.
Okay, I'll leave.
2018
Stop
new year,
recording.
we're letting go of the beef.
I'm right.
I'll stop recording this whole episode for you and just leave, and you guys will just sit here in silence and wonder.
I bet you won't, coward.
All right. What other aspects of SFD are there? I guess we could talk a little bit about map making in general.
Dan the man.
Dan the
Dan the
man.
man.
I think we're gonna talk about SC.
What about
like
Dan
the
the
I love
plan,
Dan the
like,
man.
and stuff that happened.
Oh, oh,
He's
oh.
my hero.
Their own personal experiences with it.
Okay.
Spartan cast when?
Spartan cast now. Okay.
Okay, we got
Spartan
the
cast.
Spartan cast.
Semicolon
Okay,
cast.
so Obito was kind of a jerk back in the day, right? Or was I reading
Yeah.
that wrong the whole time?
Right.
No, he was a jerk.
But-
He was a jerk.
He was, but his brother was a bigger jerk.
His brother's a little bitch.
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh.
This is a Christian podcast. What have you done?
Oh no,
I'm gonna
we
have to
brought
edit
our
that out. It's
we
gonna
brought
take
our own
7
bias
hours.
Oh no, our bias. Oh,
Oh no, our
no.
personal bias.
Oh god. How dare
Oh
we let
jeez,
this is a
Oh
completely
man, how are we
informative
gonna
show.
how are we gonna pass this?
we aren't.
We aren't. We're just
Stop
gonna
the
keep
recording.
Stop the
We're
recording.
done.
We're done.
going. Okay.
Shut it down. So Bash, tell us about the Superfighters Deluxe map editor.
Oh, okay. It's like it's a tile-based editor for the most part. So you just drag and drop things in and just build levels. The official maps are also made using it, so the developers use it themselves. It has quite a few options, quite a few different tiles. You can make like whatever you want. For the most part, the physics and like you can gel them with these triggers as well, and then just make like this huge contraption and stuff. Yeah.
You can even rotate the titles, I heard.
Wow. Yes.
You can
Wow.
rotate the tiles.
Yeah.
You can even flip them.
You
You
played
gotta
for
kill
4
me.
years, 5 years. So we didn't know we could
Did
rotate
you
the
know?
tiles.
Like I knew you could. I knew you could like turn the tiles, but you could flip them as well.
You can
I thought
rotate
they
them
pa-
around
Whoa.
like 360
Can I flip them
degrees.
I thought they-
horizontally? Can I flip them? Can I flip them vertically?
Yes.
Yep.
I can
I
do
thought they
both.
patched that out.
To be honest, they could have by
Is that a
accident.
feature or a bug?
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, but the map
It's
editor,
by design, my dude.
the map editor has
design.
allowed like a lot of people to be creative and make a bunch of maps. Some of them good, some of them bad, and spread them around. Originally on the original SFD forums, they would spread them around, but now we have the map site.
My favorite was when there used to be like massive waves of people making non-combat maps, like a soccer map.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
No,
remember
I remember that. That was cool.
See,
It was like
that
soccer and
that's
tennis
for all the
and
nostalgia.
Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris. Yeah, you'd play with a dud grenade, and get
And
around a
pretend
map.
it was a soccer ball.
Dan the man, he was a god at that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
He was.
That's where all my nostalgia went.
He
But again-
encouraged those. He's the one who he made map competitions where you'd make non-competitive maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would make like a map every day, and we'll just play on his server while he made maps.
We should get Dan the Man on the podcast.
He's in college now, though,
He's in
and like
college.
Wow.
I, think he's
I don't
like
know if he's on the
senior
server
year.
anywhere on
He's
Discord.
probably in his senior year of college.
He's on Skype somewhere.
He is on Skype.
I don't have Skype
Oh,
anymore.
holy shit, you're right. He stopped playing SFD like 3 years ago. Oh my god.
So yeah, he's probably like
He's
senior year.
graduating.
He's graduating soon.
Everybody's
Holy
moving on, and we're still here just talking about this dang game.
We're still talking about SFD. We're still doing this
I like
podcast. We need to get up and do something with our lives.
No, this is how we.
We're
This is
still-
closure. I'm telling you.
We are still recording the podcast.
Oh my god.
We are still recording the podcast. I can't
Where
believe
did the time go?
Where did time go?
Well,
Time for Superfighters Deluxe trivia.
Yep. The game's releasing
Trivia?
soon, isn't it? It
it's
feels like
supposed to
a bit of-
release this year, I think.
Yeah,
exactly.
in the year. In 2018.
Oh my gosh.
It's
So
finally
not
gonna release
only-
after like 5 to 6 years of development. So,
Oh yeah, we should
So,
probably talk
let's-
about that. It's been in
It
pre-alpha.
was in- For 4 years.
it was
for
for
4
It
years.
was in pre-alpha for
Pre-alpha.
4. It was
That's
in
not even
And
the
then
definition.
alpha
of
for
pre-alpha.
like
It's
half. Like
not
half
even a year, half a year.
Yeah,
Half a year.
and then it just went to
Then
beta. I don't
Yeah.
know how they think it's in beta. It's not too much different from alpha, but
I don't think
Yeah.
they. I don't know. I think they felt really bad. Jon Marc, tell us about the time you called out Gurn Hyarp for saying the game was in pre-alpha.
What do you mean? I made a forum post that said you're dumb.
You
Don't
made
do
like
this.
4 forum posts. You had a huge. It was like a week long a battle with them. They're like,
I don't
no,
even
it's
think
not.
I remember that.
Oh,
you were
that's
like-
right. I did it. Yes. Yeah, I hated it, and I kept on bitching to you, and like what? This is
To everyone.
They can't
And
do
to
this.
You kept
This is a
complaining to
crime.
Gurn.
And he said,
And
"Well, I
then-
don't know. It's not done yet, is it?" It's like, well, that's not.
that's not how pre-alpha
It's not-
works, is it? That's not how version numbers work.
It's not finished though. It's
On episode 10, once we get some popularity, we should just get Gert on the podcast. On this podcast.
Gert,
I think
join our
discuss
podcast. You won't
why
be
the game was
bitch.
pre-alpha for so long.
we could probably
I'm
get
calling you out,
Splinter on
Gary.
the podcast.
Well, I mean,
We
they,
could Splinter.
they have real life jobs too. It's not like they're doing this full time. Is the thing?
Well, they have to once there's enough pressure.
Really?
See.
It's true.
I
The
guess so.
community demands it. It's like
Yeah,
grabs.
basically. Exactly.
Supply and demand.
It's like, yeah, when everybody flipping ganged up on Gert and Hjarpa just to get flipping grabs in the game, because I think Lunatic spearheaded it and was like,
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we're going about this all wrong. Maybe we shouldn't aggressively demand. Maybe we should ask nicely.
I mean, we,
That's
no,
not gonna
we,
work.
We have a
we
community-
That
tried
has
that.
never worked.
We tried
That
it in the
has
past.
never worked.
We just have a
All right,
communication issue.
so SFD has a forum where you can make suggestions for the game.
Oh
And-
yeah.
Yeah, the forums
Supposedly.
exist. So
It's
supposedly,
a
but it's
rumor.
not
There's
used.
there
They
are so many.
They accept one request once every 1,000 years.
Yeah, there's so many requests. There's so many planned features for this dang game, but like so
And
far, what
every
they've done-
request, secretly, every request that like your boomerang idea bash, the reason
Mhm.
they accepted that, they had already thought of a boomerang. They're just trying to make you feel good. They actually don't
Yeah.
care what you have to say.
They literally
They
don't
already
care.
have.
No,
They
they
don't-
used my exact layout for that one though. They used all of my
No.
they used all my rules for
That's
it.
great
What
minds
was-
think alike.
What was like accepted so far? Like I know
The
like,
shock
Boomerang.
baton,
Cosmetics. So a few cosmetics.
Shock
were accepted.
baton.
like that one mask was
Cosmic.
like
the restraint
accepted
mask.
by
Yeah,
this one
the restraint
dude.
mask.
Restraint mask. Rice hat was a suggestion that came through.
Mhm.
And I
Those
think
are
that's
the
it.
only two I know, though.
Yeah.
Like, out
Oh,
of the
I like
millions
Female.
suggested.
Female gender. That's extremely.
Oh yeah,
requested.
wait, didn't
I
Judy?
never thought that would happen.
Wasn't that Judy Hopps? or
That was
whatever?
like two
Finally.
people. That was two
Female
people. That was
gender.
like Judy Hopps and one other person
And they
suggested
said that
that.
they would never do it. They were like, no,
Uh,
there's no reason to put this
No,
in the
we're not
game.
gonna.
And then
Like,
they just
no,
did it
we
one
hate
day.
Women. Ew.
So yeah.
Make up your minds.
Yeah, they really don't have like rhyme or reason to what they add. It's just like, yeah, this is easy. Sure. That's pretty much it.
It wasn't. They really rushed females because they don't look good
No,
at
they're
all.
just like little skeleton girls. Not even girls. They look like just emaciated
Not even
men.
girls. Little monsters.
You
Yeah.
know, I think you all
That's what
complained.
girls are, though.
We got vaginas in the game.
Wow.
We got
No,
the
we just have
rice
titties.
hat.
We
got a
don't even have
restraint mask.
vaginas.
Oh god. They
We
could
don't
just be
even-
men, for all I know. Just like feminine-looking men with
Tiny men
breasts.
with breast implants.
Who would
Yeah.
ever do that? Men trying to look like women? I've never heard of that.
No, we're not getting on that topic. Please. Okay.
Well, this is
About
this is
yeah.
a hot topic. You are
Gender imbalance in SFD. There are a lot of
Right,
men who
that's
play
right.
SFD,
Women
but
do
not
not
too
get
many
paid
women.
as much in SFD.
There was a girl,
They're
and then she
male,
left.
alarming-
Actually, think about that. For the amount of men who play SFD, those who use a female gender in their customization are probably not female.
Yeah, they're probably all male. I've used the
90%
female
of
gender
those
once
who
or
use the
twice.
female gender option are not female.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
We had one girl in the Discord server, and she left like a few weeks ago.
I have at least 2.
Yeah.
Fans don't know what Gert
She doesn't
looks
play
like.
SFD anymore, so I mean, yeah.
The drawing of Gert.
The drawing of Gert.
Okay, what else? What else is there about dang SFD?
Oh,
So
Alright,
remember the
plans.
theory we made about Gert being dead?
Oh yeah.
Hyarp's dead.
Yeah.
Hyarp is dead. Gert is alive.
Wait. Are you? Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah. That was actually it originally. That Hjortpa
I
was
thought
dead,
Gert
and that Gert was trying to like get by making bad art.
sad
And bad
about
Because
it.
Because in one update, they made some really poor. I think grabs. It was the grabs. Grabs were really poorly implemented, and Hyarp's the creative genius behind SFD. So everything that happens, he plans. And then they did something that was really, really dumb. So it was
Mhm.
like Gert thought of this instead of Hyarp. And then in that same update, all the clothes were ugly, and every piece of clothing since that update has been really bad looking.
Yeah.
Deduction.
Have
They
there-
never properly colored the cowboy hat yet.
Really?
It's still just
No.
like two solid
Oh, yeah.
colors.
It's not. It's
It
not,
has no.
It has no shading.
has no
There's
shading.
no shading
Yeah,
whatsoever.
there are a lot of cosmetics that actually have shading, but the cowboy hat,
They
no.
ruined my costume actually because the little straps. For
They
my
ruined
costume,
your
they go under
costume.
my underpants.
They ruined your
Okay.
costume just because they knew you liked it so much, Ross. That's
Oh,
how
and
evil
they-
these depths are.
And they kept adding clothes that had colors that didn't match the rest of the in-game palettes.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
for the
really?
longest time, SC had this uniform you're supposed to wear, red and black,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose the lightest color of red, which is actually pretty much orange. So they
That
kept
was
on
that
telling me
version.
to change it, but I never did.
Wow.
They passed that. Light as red
Yeah.
is now actually red. That was the
They,
previous
they
version.
did actually, yeah, they did actually end up changing the palette, like overall, for the most part.
Mhm.
So,
How many times did they change the palette?
Once.
yeah, once. It wasn't that
Once.
Are you sure about that?
It wasn't a good change
Yeah.
though.
It was not a good change. I like the old palette a lot. Some of them were good. It made all the darkest colors really good, but it ruined all the lightest colors.
bad. That's kind of true, yeah.
SFD color theory.
SFD color theory, yeah.
Salt in the tie.
Making good costumes, being a fashionista in SFD is very possible.
White is a shade. Pink is a shade.
What's
Think is
next
Okay, so
on the list?
think
Let's
that's a-
get this podcast going.
I
Pink
think
is
we're
like
done
red.
with SFD.
It-
I think we're. Oh my God, no!
What?
You are light red. Light is a shade.
Uh,
Well,
I
light
think
is
we're done
what
with
we're talking
SFD.
about.
Let's move on from SFD. There's nothing else to say about SFD. The
There's
game.
clans. There's a few clans we haven't mentioned.
are there?
Honorable mentions.
Blood team.
Los Hermanos.
Boyos
Follows
Hermanos?
Hermanos, Splinter's
Yeah.
clan, who is the
Yeah.
composer of SFD. We didn't
yeah,
mention
hey.
that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
a,
he's the
a,
newest developer.
a guy from the dang forums who has played SFD for years and flippin' made his own clan at one point is now actually the actual composer for the game.
I'm pretty jealous.
It's so
You
cool. I'm glad one of us made it up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Because, like, I don't know if they're ever gonna accept, like, fan-made maps for official map pool or whatever, but...
I feel like they're eventually just gonna start giving up and like letting eventually backpack off of the community because the community will come up and be like, literally offering
what-
help. Like, please let me help with
That's
this game.
That's what they're gonna do at release. I think is they're gonna really start accepting community maps. They're gonna make an in-game map browser. I think they really
Or
should.
They're probably
should,
gonna use
yeah.
the... Okay, because they might put it on Steam, right? That's their plan.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
might just use the Steam Workshop, right?
Yeah, they said they're planning on Steam integration, but they didn't promise it. They just
yeah,
said
that's
they're
true.
planning.
They just planned it. It's not actually for sure.
I mean, they'd have. I mean, like the smart thing to do would be to like put it on Steam. Otherwise, like
Yeah, nobody would play
Yeah,
it.
but they might
lots
put
of
it on-
kids do.
They might put it on Steam, but not do Steam integration, so you still need a Mytho account to play it, and you don't have Workshop. They have their own built-in map browser. They could just put it on Steam, but then stop there.
Yeah, That
I mean,
makes,
I already imagine that that's what's already going to happen. Like,
Like Warframe is on Steam, but you need a Warframe account to play it and stuff like that.
yeah, that's true. But they said that they would probably get rid of the mythologic accounts, right, if they integrated it with Steam, or do something
Oh,
else.
what was the
No.
point of the accounts?
To why
Like,
did they-
secure your own identity, right?
Yeah, to secure who exactly you were, so that way nobody could impersonate you.
Also, so we can sell
Oh, yeah.
names. So we can sell names.
No,
Sell names.
no, shut up, stop that, Ross.
Who's telling
Once
you?
SFD is released on Steam, guys,
'cause-
just pick up as many names as you can. PewDiePie, stuff like that.
Markiplier,
Markiplier.
Obama.
Oh my god, we need to make
Trump.
these accounts now so that when later, when people want them, we have to go sell them.
Exactly.
PewDiePie, Markiplier,
Oh.
Dan the Diamond Minecart. Yeah, there you go.
That's
Captain
it, those are the
Sparkles.
ones.
Captain Sparkles, of course, classic.
Just all the Minecraft YouTubers.
Notch.
Seth Bling, Notch.
Notch himself,
Notch.
Hero Brian.
That we should get Gert actually, and Hjorpa,
We should take. Yes,
and then
they probably already took those.
maybe, yeah, probably actually.
DragonFruit.
Yeah, so if it does get on Steam, people are gonna actually have to pay for it. That's a thing.
Yes,
It's gonna be.
and they have to pay double for names.
They're gonna have to pay double for names. It's gonna be $10. They said maybe something around there, USD,
10 to 15.
10 to 15. And there are actually quite a few kids who are like, "Dang it! Now I have to buy the game. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm so sad. I can't play SFD anymore." And yeah, that's actually a surprisingly large part of the community. No, I mean, like not actually like large in the scale of
Poor
things.
children.
Yeah, but like all these kids who are like, well, now I can't play this free game that I've played for 4 years. Now I'm gonna have to pay for it, and it may not even be like marginally different, because yeah, it may
It's not gonna say alpha in front of it though. It's gonna be a real
Whoa.
video game.
it's not gonna say beta. It's not gonna say alpha. It's gonna say
It's gonna
just-
just say finished product.
it's just gonna say version 1.0, and that's gonna be it. Wow.
Feedback.
Pretty much. Oh, the reason they added names to SFD was you can now make servers are profile only, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to log in to play in a server. You can't go anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. That's all you can do with an
But
account.
you can just make a bunch of accounts anyway, so it's not like I don't know. I feel
You
like
have to have a
can
new email for each account.
Really? Okay. Well, that's
I
not
think we're
really
done with
that
SFD.
I think
Or-
SFD.
that's all.
That would be lying, and that's
Are we gonna go? We should go talk about our man crushes on the community. Who do you boys
Oh no.
have an eye for?
Who do you have? Wow.
Lunatic.
Oh, yeah.
Lunatic, yes. He
Amazing.
already has a girlfriend though. You gotta go fight for that.
Yeah, you need
Good.
to kill her and then take over LM.
Fight for him.
Wed Lunatic and become the princess of LM.
Oh, and Roosevelt. Roosevelt's pretty cute if he counts.
Yeah, Wozen has his own YouTube channel. That's right, where he reviewed the nuclear
Yes,
throne box.
He's going far.
Yeah, he just kind of poured it on a desk, and he was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good." I mean, and there's also Knight who has a YouTube channel too. And
He is the first SFD YouTuber.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and he's probably gay. I could date him.
Probably. Wait, Zyfix?
I don't think so. No, I think he.
I don't think
he likes
Zyfix would be
women.
gay.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
I wouldn't be
Or
surprised
make-
if any of us were gay.
I guess there are like a few content creators like for SFD already.
We are
like
gay.
there are
Deadpool SFD.
Deadpool SFD. Yeah, he's Hispanic, I think. Yeah. Because there are a lot of Brazilians, a lot of people in South America who play the game.
So many. That's what colon V comes from. That's a South American saying.
Yeah. The colon V. Yeah, a lot of people use that, and then Melee. Like 2 L's for melee.
Mierda.
Isn't most of the player base Brazilian, pretty much? At this point?
Not Brazilian. South American. So a lot of
South
Spaniards.
American.
South
A
American.
lot
yeah.
of a surprising amount of Brazilians though, but a lot of like Spanish and Colombians.
A
and
lot of
stuff,
people saying ha 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 with J's. Yeah.
We have a lot of
too. Ja,
Brazilians.
ja, ja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an alarming amount.
There's also like 4 Finnish people who play SFD, which is a lot. That's a lot of Finnish people.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the
We
whole
have 4 people
population.
saying they come from Finland,
Wow. Yeah, because
proving that Finland exists.
We could eliminate them so easily.
whoa.
We could wipe out the entire population of Finland.
Yeah, we could challenge them to an SFD tourney and kill them all.
Yeah.
Hey Bash, could you put this art on the podcast?
What is this? This little
Sure.
dude?
It,
Sure.
That's what Jon Marc is drawing. Just put it all in.
we got another illustration from one of our fans. Thanks so much,
Fans,
Jonathan!
it's a podcast.
This is
Thanks for
Yarpa?
joining,
John-
Jimmy.
You drew
Jonathan
Yarpa for me?
Marcus.
Wow, that's a really good picture.
That is a really good picture. Thanks, little Jimmy.
You see the contour of his face here is very good, and it looks exactly like him. If you ever look up
He has a
the developers of SFD, that's pretty much what they look like.
It's like looking. It's like I can put the picture side by side of Yarp. I can put a photo of him side by side. It's like looking in the mirror.
he has a butt chin.
Just like in real life, yeah. The developers of
Yeah,
SFD
that was great.
are both very handsome.
They're both bald
Okay.
and they have really flat heads.
And butt
You wanted
chins.
to talk Ross.
Oh yeah, the art direction, the art direction of SFD.
Alright, I
Flat-headed
think we're done with
little
SFD.
Are we done
There's
with
no more
SFD?
SFD talk.
SFD
All right, what do we
is
want
done.
to talk about?
We're all
Superfighters-
retiring.
Superfighters
You want to do the weed
Deluxe.
joke now?
There's toss. there's nothing really to say.
Yeah, SFD.
There was toss.
That's SFD in a nutshell. To say
We can
the
talk about the
least.
history of Team 5.
Team 5.
Mm-hmm.
Arrow's not here. That's our special guest
Yeah.
for when Arrow's here.
Yeah, if Arrow
That's true.
came, then we would talk about
We'll have
it.
an episode for Arrow.
Yeah, we can
We'll
leave-
have an episode.
We could leave SAT history for later episodes. So people who actually are.
Yeah, they like give their own they
Like
give their own
lunatics.
stories, and they can only tell them. And they tell it the best way because they were the ones who.
Yeah,
Sort of
once
went to
Lunatic isn't
the
here, we'll make him talk about example.
It's like we went through nothing.
Stamp, so we should be able to find where we
We're in.
What do you mean timestamp? We don't need to find a timestamp. We're still recording.
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
one
We
we're
never
recording.
did
We did not
anything.
mess up.
Yeah,
We've been going
there
on
wasn't a
for, like,
break
an
or
hour, I
anything.
think.
Phase 4 of the Danger Cast. We're in Phase 4 of the Danger Cast video games.
Oh.
Video games. So, what video games have you guys liked?
Ooh, my
has been
favorite.
getting into recently? I played.
I
Cuphead.
played-
Cuphead is-
I played
Cuphead,
2
I-
games in 2017.
Oh, 2?
What did you play?
SFD.
2. Sonic Mania and the new Zelda game.
And how were they both?
Good.
Describe them.
All right, that's,
What did you
that's
like
a game
about
block.
Sonic
Oh.
Mania was really pretty.
Yeah,
It was a really
and-
good looking game.
It looks
And
really
why do you
What
like
was your-
Sonic?
What was your
what about
favorite
it
level in
appeals-
Sonic Mania?
I don't know. Not Titanic Monarch. Maybe
Why not? Why is it not
uh,
Titanic Monarch?
I didn't like the music, and it was hard. I liked it in retrospect. I don't know. There's so many good zones, it's hard to pick. Maybe Studiopolis. That was a fun zone to play on.
I like
probably
Studiopolis
Studiopolis.
too.
Or no, Flying Battery. Flying Battery or Studiopolis are my favorites.
Ross,
That
what
was
games
Sonic
have you
Mania.
liked recently? I know you like Realm of the Mad God. You play that.
I know you like
right,
Realm of
play
the
a lot
Mad
of
God.
Realm of the Mad God? Holy crap! That's
Oh, I should probably tell you about that. Yeah, I've started a clan in my school around the Mad
Oh.
God.
Oh
So
my God,
it's
you are
not
so
blocked at our
gay.
school, so we just play that all day.
So gay.
Bunch.
that,
You have work
You are
to be
so
doing.
gay,
this is a
Ross.
pixel
So that's what I
MMO,
was
right?
saying.
It uses those stock pixel guys that you can find.
It does.
Yeah, that a lot of people use on like a bunch of different games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what those are from?
Yeah, it's like they're like stock pixel guys that you can like. I don't know where they came from originally.
I saw them in a once. What are those? One of those game jams. Ludum Dare. I saw them one of those.
Ludum Dare.
I saw them in like One Button Arthur or whatever. Like that one Flash game.
Ludum Dare is a programmer competition place where you just make a game in like
Well,
2 days.
They're game jams. That's what a game jam is.
Yeah.
You have like 2 days to make a game.
That's
Speaking
I
of
think it's
which,
one day.
There's the
I don't
global
think
game
24
jam
hours.
on the global game jam.
Speaking
on
of game jams, and games, have you heard of Train Racer,
you need
No.
to stop
Racer.
that.
fellas? Let me tell you about Train Racer. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next time, we'll have a Train Racer episode where I'll tell you about Train
Okay,
Racer.
we all play Train Racer live, and then the
There
guests
is
can
no
come
Train
and join
Racer.
in.
Train
All
Racer
our
does not
patrons.
exist. Train Racer will never exist.
Well,
Yet.
when we get to the Train Racer, we'll go use our patron money to go make a Train Racer
Racer.
video game. We've got a new game
Cool.
coming out, guys.
Train
Underneath,
Racer.
yeah, underneath.
We'll tell you all about it on episode 4. Train Racer
Wow.
episode. Wow.
Does game development count as gaming talk?
Uh,
It's more like hobbies,
do
right?
Do you want it to?
we should like finish up what we were talking about first. I
Yeah,
guess.
like what other games have people played in the past
I
year?
I played Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, I played a bit of
What
that
did you
too.
think?
On the Switch.
Played Rock of Ages 2.
He played Rock of Ages too. Dude,
Fun little
I played
game.
Magicite. I played Magicite with Jon Marc last year.
That wasn't-
That's right.
It was a lot of fun.
Isn't that
It's the best game
a
ever.
roguelite?
It's a very roguelite.
No.
I thought
It's a
Magicite
roguelite.
sucked.
What are you talking about?
Really badly.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, buddy?
No,
really
like
You got a
Good
problem,
game.
big guy?
I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger here. I just heard it. You know, it really sucked, and I didn't like
What are you
it.
talking about? Uh-huh.
Who told you
What are you
that?
talking-
Where'd you hear it?
Who
Where'd
told
you
me
hear
that?
it?
I heard it
Yeah.
from the
Refuse to
grapevine.
repeat it.
From Breitbart?
I heard it from the grapevine. The grapevine told me that it was a bad game and nobody liked it.
Why'd
The
you,
wrong?
Grapes didn't like it.
why'd you feel the need to
I mean,
repeat that
they made a
message?
sequel, right?
And
The
I
sequel's
trust the
way
No.
Grapes.
They stopped developing Magicite and then began developing a different game.
Yeah, that's
That's
why.
because they
it's
were done with
bad.
Magicite because they didn't stop developing it. They were finished developing.
It was not finished. You can't call that finished.
According to Steam reviews, it was abandoned. Okay.
Wait,
It was
is it-
abandoned.
Was it
Yeah,
an early
abandoned
access or something?
game.
Or?
It was an early access.
Yeah, that really good program for Steam games.
That's
you know?
just rival video game developers leaving bad. Like
There's a feature in Magicite where multiplayer items duplicate on like each client. So if you kill an
Feature.
enemy, it is a feature.
It's a
It-
feature.
if you kill an enemy, they drop all their items on both clients. So every item duplicates per player.
Wow.
It was really good.
Basically. It's really good.
That's a really good feature.
I mean,
That's
actually,
my
that
kind of
isn't too
roguelite.
bad, like game design wise, because everybody gets something then.
Wow,
True.
isn't that sweet?
Aw, yeah.
I
Isn't that
beat
cute?
Magicite. I once beat Magicite.
Wow.
It was-
I've never
it was-
beaten it.
It was so easy. If you get
I've played it so much and I never beat it.
if you get the ice rod and the fire rod, the game is free. The game plays itself once you get those two weapons.
Oh.
Because the fire rod goes through walls, and so does the ice rod. And the final boss can't even touch you. You just run ahead and shoot through the walls, and he dies.
Good game.
Is the final boss like separated by walls?
Yeah, and it's a big wall moving towards you.
Oh.
And so the thing with that game is it's trash. Just kidding. It's
Yeah,
good.
See?
It's
See?
not good. I've played it myself. It's terrible.
No, you didn't.
It
No,
is
you
not
said you
terrible.
just heard it through
You
the
were-
grapevine. Now you're lying.
oh, time to shoot the messenger, buddy.
Oh yeah.
You
Right.
also were playing it wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Just 'cause
not.
you-
I was playing it
you
the way
have
it
to
was
play the
intended.
game
You're not smart
exactly
enough
how
to
the-
enjoy it. Doesn't mean
Yeah, it's like Rick and Morty. You have to have a high enough IQ.
It's just a hard game.
Oh, I
You don't
see. I cannot
understand.
comprehend the game.
Okay.
You can-
What other games have people
Yeah.
played besides Magicite?
Matt.
More
I got
magic.
into D&D recently. Let's talk about D&D.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about D&D, please.
D&D. Okay.
Let's talk about
D&D.
it.
Let's talk about
What,
D&D.
does
D&D
anybody
throughout
in
the
the room have a
years or
problem with
recently?
D&D?
Oh,
Could
Oh,
somebody
let
in this room have a problem with D&D? The
Okay.
game
Yeah,
Oh,
give
that-
him, give him the
Dungeons
message.
and
might-
Give him the
Dragons,
spiel.
why?
they might just have a problem with D&D.
Yeah.
Well,
just
who
might-
could that possibly be?
Who could it be?
Jon
don't
Marc?
know.
You have a problem with D&D?
Oh, oh man.
Why? What are
I-
you
I
talking
heard-
about? Show
I
us
heard
your
the
unpopular
grapevine.
opinion as to why D&D is bad.
Well, you know, I heard
Bash.
through the grapevine.
Huh?
I heard through the grapevine that systematically, at every point of design, it's just a degenerate failure of a game.
Who told you that? The grapevine?
Bash,
The
how
grapes
much-
aren't always
I think
right.
it was the same grapevine.
The grapes aren't always right, dude.
Wait,
Like,
Jake,
Like,
what are you
some
trying
are
to say?
right, some are wrong.
Put this image
like,
on screen.
you gotta make
Okay.
out what they're all saying as a collective. And I think
Degeneracy's
you
a
heard
fruit
the
of
wrong
life.
grapes.
You added me.
No, I listened to these
Jimmy-
grapes. I listened good. Combat is absolute.
Oh boy.
It's
The
it's
grapes
absolutely
speak the truth.
disgusting.
Die D&D.
I
I
don't
like
like
it.
the
Okay.
combat system.
Not
The
D&D.
graphics
You know
are
what?
shit.
How about this? How about
I hate
this?
the
How about
graphics.
instead of me listing every single mechanic of the game and telling you why it's bad, why don't you list a mechanic that you enjoy?
Grappling.
And I'll tell you.
RNG.
That's a lie.
I like it when the dice makes the clickety-clack sound on the table.
I like it when
That's
I
a
when I
lie.
get
It's actually
mid-20 and
stupid.
I kill everything.
All
That's
right,
stupid
but
that-
Every
if you
role-playing
enjoy
game does clickety class. Every role-playing game does clickety clack.
Well, actually, that's not true. Some games do not do clickety clack. Some games use cards. Some games don't even use dice at all.
Some of them
games
use
use
like a
games.
flat. Some of them have
Some
a
games use
carpet.
boards.
The dice on.
How about this? If you like clickety clacks, why don't you just go play Sorry, huh?
Wow.
Ooh.
Board game.
Why don't you
You
play
better
Trouble?
say sorry for that.
Yeah, I mean, wait,
Oh,
did I
no.
say sorry? I'm gonna say Trouble. Oh well.
Okay. But yeah.
I love Trouble.
It's a little dice popper. Dice popper is a good mechanic.
Unlike
so if
SFD.
D&D had a dice popper, would it be better?
Yeah,
Yes.
if Dungeons and Dragons had a dice popper with a little D20 in there, it'd be better.
Dude, if SFD had a dice popper, we'd all forgive client side.
Yeah, it'd be okay.
All right,
How
tell us
we
about.
implemented-
I want a modded keyboard where all of my keys are replaced with mini dice poppers.
Ooh.
So every
So I don't. Every key
Is
is
it wrong
it's gonna be
to let it
random
out?
every time I press it.
so you're just like typing the whole time though. Wouldn't that get annoying?
Well,
You
that'd
have
be
to
fun.
have
push
to
the
keep
key.
retrying.
You have to push
It'd
it
be
down and
fun.
pop it every single time you wanted to go press on the key.
That'd be fun though.
Now,
If you get
tell
critical
me,
success,
how would
if
that
you
be
roll a
fun?
6, you
I
type
like
the entire
the
word.
popping sound.
Wouldn't you type really slowly then? Because you have to wait for it to pop.
I guess that's okay. I'm enjoying myself, you know. And when you're enjoying
Wouldn't
yourself,
you-
time flies.
Well, what if
Wouldn't you
I'm-
break them really quickly?
But what if I was enjoying playing D&D without the dice popper? Like I don't have a dice popper, but you know what? I can still have fun playing with my
You're allowed to be
D20s
wrong.
and my D8s and my D12s.
All right.
and-
All right, say.
Absolutely disgusting.
Let's hear it. Let's hear why D&D is good, buddy.
Yeah.
Bucko.
What's
Well,
good?
first of all, why is it bad?
Okay, yeah. Where do we start? What's the biggest? Well, there's something like.
The D20.
I think the biggest
D20.
gripe with the
Majority.
D&D
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll crown it off with why the D20 itself is the symbol of our oppression. So, first of all, you have to understand, Dungeons and Dragons was made by nerds, by control freak nerds who want to control your imagination, and they want to try to limit your creativity.
Do you have problems with authority? Deep underlying problems that reflect
Yeah.
to this game?
No, yeah, yes.
Dungeons
But
and
beyond
Dragons is
that-
authoritarian.
But beyond that, so combat. So first of all, just the whole idea of the chronological. There's like 6 seconds to a round, and you go in some kind of chronological order. That there are a lot of minute problems with, just where I have to describe my action, then I resolve it, and then. Basically, one of the biggest problems with the initiative order. This is kind of a small beef with combat, but there are larger problems with it as well. Yeah, well, small little pickings I got with it. But the faster you are, right, the sooner you
Right.
act in combat. Acting sooner in combat is oftentimes kind of awful, because then everybody else gets to react to your initial movement and your initial decision. Everyone else
Right.
has the opportunity to react to you, where it's preferably you would want some kind of system that allows faster people to be able to react to what slower people are going to do. And now there are actually some homebrew systems that did that. There's I think it's what is it? The Greyloft system, Grey Raven. I don't remember the name, but there are some modified systems to handle it. But above all, combat is just so goddamn slow, and dealing damage is okay. So the stimulus that you offer to the player to let them know that they've been damaged is to just take away some health points, but it doesn't give them any other perceptible stimulus of damage. It doesn't change their abilities. It doesn't change any type of dynamic in combat. It's just a binary: are you alive or are you dead? And if you're not dead, you can keep on swinging. If you're alive, and it's just it's mind-numbingly stupid. It doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. There are so many systems that do manage to integrate damage into mechanically into play, and it feels fresh. It feels it feels hard hitting. The damage actually matters. Another thing is that failure in Dungeons and Dragons, it doesn't. So I could have described some magnificent action combat, right? I could leap off a rampart and drive my sword into somebody's head or whatever. That's what I'd like to do. It's a very cool action. And as the dungeon master, you would like to, grant the player the opportunity to do that.
Right.
But if they just roll poorly, it doesn't matter how well they described it. It doesn't matter how good of an idea they had. The dice just said no. And then, well, you miss, sorry. And mechanically, if you just go by the rules in the book and you don't really house rule too much, missing doesn't mean anything. It literally means nothing happened. That's it. There's no additional consequence. Besides you standing there and not doing anything.
For like 6 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. So there's pretty much nothing to failure. It's either just you succeed and you manage to do what the rules allot you, and generally if you're dungeon master, you could say, well, yeah, these are just problems with the basic rules though, and dungeon masters will always like to homebrew to allow the players to have more possibilities, maybe to allow additional consequences to spectacular failures. A lot of dungeon masters have critical failures.
Right.
But there are two problems. One, at a certain point, once you've homebrewed too much, it's no longer D&D. It's just your version of a role-playing game that's based off D&D. And I'm actually fine with people I enjoy it when people stray really far from D&D. That's because I hate the system.
Right. That's what I do with my group most of the time. Whenever we get to
Remember
combat.
my rape dungeon D&D run? Does anyone remember that?
I think I do. Yeah.
I do.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I really felt bad.
I haven't heard of this.
I loved the RP sessions.
We're gonna have a podcast like that. Don't worry. Anyways,
that's good.
Well, I do agree that you are right. That I actually have a problem too with the combat system, because it seems like your problem is it just lies in the combat system. And how.
No, actually, no. I have a whole lot more. I'll just go quickly through the rest. Another thing is magic. It's
Wait,
it's called advancing.
that though. You see,
What's
in that rape dungeon, right? If you roll a critical failure, the enemy disappears and it ends up behind you.
Oh god.
That's the gimmick.
teleports
So
behind you.
You don't just miss. He actually disappears and you
He
have
says-
no vision of
He
him.
teleports behind you and says nothing personnel, kid, and then he kills you.
No,
Whoa.
you get
Well,
inserted.
And we all know what happened.
He rapes you.
Oh,
Basically.
wait, really? In the rape dungeon?
Yeah, actually, RPS is a gimmick.
We should play Fatal from another time, another land.
We should not play Fatal.
But,
actually, yeah.
but no, about the whole combat system, it takes too long. Yeah, I actually do agree with that. John,
Yeah.
fucking we've identified that it takes a long ass time, especially because combat takes every 6 seconds and everybody can react to you. We've been aware of that, and I brought it up to my own DM too, and he's like, you're right, it is kind of dumb. So we've done it in a way so where when everybody moves, it's 6 seconds. And actions aren't really finished until everybody goes around.
Yeah. Describing your actions and resolving them all at the same time.
Yeah, because if you do it traditionally, my D&D group has about 12 to 14 people every week.
Holy shoot.
Yeah, and so every other week we just sort of go between the two groups, because it's split into two groups. Because for some reason the other group doesn't want to have fun. Meanwhile, we want to have fun.
Ooh.
And
They're playing seriously?
You should sit in with that group sometime and see how bad the game is. See what it's like if you actually follow the rules.
I have. So that's why we don't. We don't follow the rules.
Yeah.
We try to bend. Well, we follow the rules to the point where the combat system doesn't the combat system doesn't be shitty towards us. We found a way around that, and so we just play that way. But no, your other problems with it?
Oh yes. So let's see. Well, one thing is this is kind of a philosophical problem with it, as in a design philosophy where everything has to be balanced. Because fundamentally, Dungeons and Dragons, it originated from an old war game called Chainmail.
Right.
That was your standard tabletop, war game. And then some people thought, hey, wait a second, wouldn't it be cool if you could take control of these guys as individuals and then, I guess play a little bit more beyond the battlefield? And then Dungeons and Dragons happened. So fundamentally, it is kind of like a Frankenstein of wargaming and role-playing. and so everything kind of feels like it has to be balanced in combat. The wizard might, the wizard might be might have very powerful spells, but he's also very weak. The barbarian might have a lot of health and a lot of damage, but he's low on intelligence in this. And in certain places, sure, balance is good, and it's nice to make all the players feel as though they they have a role to fulfill, and they all do it in some kind of equal capacity. But what the problem is when you want to make something like really crazy, or you want to make a lot of additions to the game, or you just want to tell a different kind of story, oftentimes you're going to have to sacrifice that balance. And
Right.
just, I guess, and this typically isn't a problem from individual to individual, but in general, the culture of D&D lends itself all the way towards balance. And you're going to find a lot of players who, just because the way the game is designed and just because of the expectations that design sets up, a lot of people expect every game to be balanced, like very perfect. So if you
Right.
want to add a lot of things to the game, a lot of players then are going to be very dismayed by the lack of balance, because of all your additions, or just because of the very nature of your ideas. Like, because if you wanted to tell, say, the Lord of the Rings story, it's a very unbalanced story. The hobbits are absolute shit.
Right.
Two hobbits versus Shelob.
Like, it's not gonna, it's not a balanced. It's not a balanced story by any measure. But if players were sitting down, they'd say, "Oh, well, that's I'd like to." They might say, "Yeah, I'd like to play that," but the expectations of Dungeons and Dragons might have led them to believe that they're in for a balanced experience, and a lot of players just end up getting turned off from it. Which I don't know. I think that's just a stupid design philosophy that everything has to be balanced, and I think a lot of
And I
times
guess-
the game kind of relies on.
I feel like balance though is kind of a gray area. Like it's a really gray area, and I feel like you're right. Balance is good, but you're never going to a degree, balance everything. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
It's
yeah,
good
exactly.
to have unbalanced things going on, and my own D&D group is aware of that because we've been at the point where we would fucking grind for weeks because we do D&D every week or twice a week. So we'd just be like
Right.
in this one encounter for weeks, and we weren't supposed to get into it, but we just did it because we wanted to, and it'd be funny if like we actually beat it. And it's hard, and it's not balanced, and we get fucked over, but sometimes it works, and when it does work, it's really fun. It's really rewarding. The game is fun.
Absolutely,
We're
yeah.
rewarded properly for our actions. It's a good game.
Yeah,
Like-
overcoming imbalance is that's the whole point. I really enjoy that. Another problem is the Vancian magic system. It's called Vancian because of this author. I forgot his first name, but it's something Vance. And his whole magic. I forget exactly what his mythos is.
Jack
but
Vance?
is it Jack Vance?
I think so, yeah.
That's a lame name.
I think you're right about that. He made a lot of fantasy novels, but his whole magic ideas, there are these particular spells, and they're cast. They're either somatic or verbal, or somatic or semantic cues to cast spells, and the spells are
Right.
very quantized things. Like there's a fireball spell.
There's a spell book.
Right, there's a spell book. So there's the spells are clearly delineated, distinguished, unique thing. And so in Dungeons and Dragons, that makes sense because you've got a big list of spells to choose from. When you're a wizard.
Right.
Now, there are tons of systems out there that actually handle magic in a really cool way, where they don't give you particular spells, they give you rules that you have to follow in casting a spell. So you describe what you want to get done, but it just
Right.
can't violate any of the magic rules.
The magic rules
Yeah,
themselves already are super subjective, and like it really all just depends on the DM. But
No,
anyway,
yeah, I know. So a lot of those games do depend on, I guess, a better DM, which that's the trade-off. The DM doesn't really have to think about magic spells in Dungeons and Dragons, but in the systems where they grant the players a lot more freedom, the DM has to kind of be more on the ball. But with tightly enough designed systems of rules, you can make some amazing Magic systems where it's just about the players being able to be clever. It's not about just I cast this spell.
A good
because
dice roll.
Yeah. Just it doesn't become about just picking the right spell and a good dice roll. It becomes about it's a very clever puzzle solving game, and I think that is just an infinitely better system for Magic than the Vancian system.
Right.
Which is that because another problem is that having that just list of spells takes out any mystery when you see somebody casting a spell in Dungeons, right?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I mean that is if you're a veteran enough player and you see somebody casting a spell, then you just know what it is and you know what the rules are, you know what the effects are. Now the Dungeon Master can of course change it up, but that could be really difficult because you don't want to make it overpowered. You don't want to. I think you should. It's fine if it's overpowered. I personally enjoy it when people go off the rails. But typically for Dungeons and Dragons, it's kind of it takes out any of that mystery, where they're just casting spells that everybody knows. But if you just have wizards operating off of rules, then you don't know what all the rules are. And when you see an enemy doing things with magic, you're not sure exactly what it is they're doing. So they can still be doing something mystical. They can still be. It leaves room for mystery and lots of creativity, even from your enemies, which I think is a really cool dynamic that
Right.
Dungeons and Dragons can't do at all.
Yeah.
And the D20 itself limits creativity because any action you do is entirely determined by a player's stats and dice rolls.
Yeah, it's completely randomized, but it's not whether you're good at the game or not. In the end, it always depends on the dice roll whether you do good or not. And I can see why
Because,
people get really annoyed by that too. I get annoyed by that.
The good example Jon Marc here had, he told me, was there's this wizard and there's two temples you have to go to, and one temple's cursed and one temple's good, and he tells you a bit about each temple, and they have to figure out which one's good and which one's bad. But then a player might have an 80 in from some fucking stat, and they just roll the D20 and they just pass the skill check and they know which temple to go to now. It just ruins the whole dynamic of an interesting side quest of finding out about each temple because they just did a single dice roll.
Essentially, you could design a puzzle or some kind of challenge. Well, I guess that there was my particular problem with the way D&D handles knowledge, because you know how it has specific proficiencies for knowledge.
Yeah, it does.
You just have a skill level in knowledge, and the way it's usually just run is if someone mentions something, you can just say, well, could I roll knowledge on this to see if I know
Somebody
about this?
just joined. That's pretty good.
Cool.
Pricey.
You could tell the Dungeon Master, well, I'd like to roll for this knowledge check to see if I know about it. Now, sometime, the Dungeon Master, well, many times, the Dungeon Master might want the players to not know about them. But all the players, obviously, they feel like they're all owed the ability to at least roll. So the Dungeon Master will let them roll. And if you get a 20, then you feel that you're owed a success. So oftentimes you can just kind of... You can basically just crash the whole dynamic of the way an adventure is going. Or you can just crash the dynamic of a puzzle just with a simple die roll.
Yeah, we've done it plenty of times. We've solved
sometimes that's fun. Sometimes that's definitely fun.
right.
It'd be nice if there's a turn off switch.
Well, if it's something
we've solved...
All right, Jon Marc. Yeah, I think it's about time to wrap up this podcast.
Nice.
It's been nice. We
It's
like
been
your
nice.
monologue.
This has been fun.
Yeah, it
Let's
has
do it
been.
again.
yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, we talked
It
about
was a good
SFD,
reflection for us
We talked
in
about
general.
D&D. We talked about a few other video games. About how we
F,
would
E,
probably
and D.
marry a few people in LM and SFD community. Yeah,
That's right.
yep. It was a pretty good.
This
podcast.
week's letter is
Citation needed.
D, and this week's letter is also. the number is 11.
Wow.
I'm 11 years old today.
Okay.
Oh, and the art and the thumbnail for our podcast is all made by Jon Marc, a fabulous man who was just giving us a lecture on D.
Mm-hmm.
He knows more about it than me. Jesus fuck.
There's Splinter.
Yeah, let me show Splinter really quick. It's this beautiful man. Yes, very, very, very talented. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay then, let's all say goodbye, even you.
Let's all say happy birthday.
Happy
should
birthday,
say,
Happy
I think.
New Year.
Happy
Dude,
birthday.
No,
to
let's not.
you.
No, stop.
Happy
That's enough.
birthday.
Alright, Ross.
That's not okay.
Sign it off if you want. Goodbye, everybody.
Happy
Just end
birthday.
it now. End it now.
to you.